One where I play a French cactus.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Wee!
Wee wee!
Oh,
Hey, wait a minute. That's mine.
Oh gosh, we went live as
sorry.
soon as I said wee.
wait.
Wee
Oh my
wee.
gosh. Savar's
Ow.
stuff is all
Oh,
messed
no.
up now.
Oh no!
Oh.
Oh no!
Wait, I gotta see this. Hold on.
All messed up.
He's all over the place.
Oh,
There's
what?
extras of
Yeah,
ours.
Only
he's
he doesn't
he's
look
not good.
too small.
Yes,
Steph.
just stay right
There's
there.
two
Mason.
Zavars.
Yeah.
And they're both battle ones, I think.
What
Not the RP.
Damn it.
I mean,
Zavar, you didn't have the portrait for so long that Steph's just balancing it out. She's bringing double the portrait.
Here we go. We got one fixed.
for more professional
Huh.
quality
Huh.
content,
Okay.
support Mapper Streams on Patreon.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wants to see behind the scenes stuff, right?
There you go. There you go.
Fixed.
Nice. Now there's two Zavars.
Yay.
Yay.
No, we're
Double
fixed.
your pleasure,
We're fixed.
double your fun.
Just let it
Oh.
update. Give it time.
Yeah.
Let it happen. Let it.
Just let it
Oh,
happen.
there it is.
Just let
Let it wash over you.
It makes up for the size problems.
it wash over your like Zavar's bottle of whatever he drinks.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole
Reeling
time
it
he's been
in.
drinking skim
Reeling
milk.
it in.
Bug out.
Okay. All right. Hey, chat. Welcome.
Hi.
So sorry that we're late. A bit of a technical issues that I don't know. Might have been a Stephanie problem. I'm not really sure. But we are here now, and we're glad to be here. Welcome, players. Welcome, people in chat. Yeah. So let's get straight into episode 95 of The Forsaken. Oh, did I update that? Let me see. Nope, did not. I had it down as 94. I mean, not on the stream. I mean, in my own notes. There we go. Okay. Starting off great.
I was like, I wrote it in
Don't
pin
look-
already. I about had a heart attack.
Don't you do it. All right. So, not much. So, like, I don't have anything written out as far as, like, a recap of last week or the last time goes, just a couple weeks ago, I think. It was the group battled against Ingot, continued their battle, destroyed several skeletons in the process, and during the fight, I think y'all had like gained control of a few skeletons, or like banished them or something. Or took down quite a few at one time.
Oh yeah. The
Yeah.
violin.
Yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, that's right. Kazil used his violin, played a melody that, what was it? The command, or was it?
Mass suggestion.
Mass suggestion. That kind of controlled a few of the skeletons. Did not work on Ingot, however, but during the confrontation, as they were continuing to fight Ingot, who was mostly staying out of combat and going invisible and moving around the battlefield to try and get away from their attacks and get away from their focus. Since most of our players were focusing on her, rightfully so. She moved over to the side of the battlefield, but Kazil was able to get a few words in to try and convince her to stop attacking them. During this entire time, I think Juniper found some treasure in the hoard inside, close to where they came out here. And Zavar was trying to cook up a plan of his own, and grabbing one of the large eggs from the nest inside, brought it out, trying to what's the word I'm looking for? Trying to goad, I guess, Ingot into attacking, or stop, to not attack, or to see reason, which didn't seem to work. But eventually, the group's efforts, mostly Kazil's efforts in communicating with her, seemed to kind of break through. She stopped attacking, And also don't forget about Juniper's wall of water, or wave that she brought in that almost wiped out a few of our players even. And push them
enhance
back.
some players.
And
I tried.
so Ingot eventually, stopped attacking. Kazula tried to plead, that they wanted to help her. She said that they couldn't. And then she fell, maybe unconscious? They kind of fell down onto the beach. And that's where we ended the last session. So, just to give y'all a kind of scene here. You're on the beach, which again is more skeleton, more bones and skulls than sand. You do have some of the black sand kind of sitting, in different areas, kind of mixed in with regular sand, it seems, throughout the beach. The ocean itself looks familiar. I would say, not familiar, but looks like a regular ocean. I would say those near to the shore, to where the tide is coming in, would notice that the skulls and the bones extend out a bit into the water. It's not just here on this island. You have the ruined tower, or you think it was a tower, at least a tall, kind of narrow building that you emerged from before. You have this slight breeze in the air that seems to come in from the west. There are a couple of small boats on the shore, along with some partially destroyed docks. You can also notice one of the, like a smashed boat here and there, it seems, or smashed cargo or something. Zavar, you're still standing out on the beach with the egg, correct? You didn't put that back. I don't think so.
No, I set it down.
Yeah.
it's-
So you are standing near, so Zavar is standing near this large iridescent egg that seems to kind of sparkle in the light. Sand very wet there around the tower where Juniper had just brought in the wave from the ocean. And a few of you, I think, still a little probably soaked from the water coming in. Let's see here. All of you aren't. Juniper, why don't you make a perception check for me, please?
Oh, can do. 2 seconds. Sorry. Perception, you said?
Yes.
Okay. All right. 14.
Okay. When you're standing off to the side of the building, Juniper, you kind of look around, and it looks like that as you look more towards, kind of what we'd refer to as the back of this this collapsed building, with the stone kind of, sitting, laying around you from the collapse that seemed to happen, quite a while ago. You'll see some, looks like maybe holes dug towards the back of the island, where most of the group we're going to say towards the front. Towards the back of the island, you'll see some looks like maybe holes dug into the sand.
Okay.
Mhm.
Is that something I can investigate, or do I need to wait?
I know. We can say you can go ahead and roll an investigation check. I might come back to you in a little bit, and if I don't, just remind me. The rest of you, while Juniper is busy, we'll see. We'll say just at that moment is when Ingot collapses to the sand. Her skin kind of sparkling from the crystals that are inlaid in it. For those of you who have noticed that with your perceptions, Yeah, and she just kind of falls to the ground with a heavy thud.
I race over.
Yep. Tegan will head over with Kazeel.
Gerbil is close and watching,
Mm-hmm.
and he still has an arrow notch, not drawn, but
God.
he is not taking any chances.
Okay.
I don't really have anything to heal, but perhaps I can try and. The crystals look dangerous, right? The controlling tape. I was thinking of perhaps trying to dispel some of the magic in the crystals. If someone can help heal it, perhaps.
Tegan and Gazelle, could you make a perception check for me real quick?
Mm-hmm. Got it, boss. Yeah. Wait, perception's like, that's not my best one, but it's all right. Plus 10, 21.
Okay. Tegan?
What do you, perception check?
Yes.
Or
Yeah,
okay.
perception. As you're, because you said that you're
Yes.
going to the body.
Dirty 20.
Okay. All right. You both will notice, along with the crystals, kind of you're getting that closer look in her skin. You also notice a clear kind of bulbous crystal hanging around her neck. Less of a crystal. I mean, less of like not faceted or like a rough stone in any way, but more like the kind of a bulbous piece of clear glass.
Pendant taken.
That it could be from the maybe get Renerius to do a identify on it, see what's going on. Or if you have identify.
Hey, first, and I'll cast Mage Hand to lift that off of her without touching it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'll see that you'll be able to do that.
Okay, I'll set it down to the side. Right. Well, if Renerius does identify, then perhaps I can try. I have just a wee bit of magic left for the day. I can try and dispel some of this crystals magic like we did back at the cafe.
I actually I never got around to scribing the identify spell that I recently bought, but I can help you dispel whatever you might need dispelled.
Perfect. Hey, I think if we work together, then these crystals look like the ones that I think you had a long time ago, and some of the other people there. Maybe we can dispel. And I'll start setting up shop with Renerius if you're up for it.
Yeah. Do you think there might be any adverse reactions to dispelling crystals that might be embedded in someone?
Perhaps. Maybe we should wait until she's conscious again.
I'll do a quick. Can I, Tegan, do a quick medicine check on
Sure.
Ingot?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna blow a little first level spell slot to cast Detect Magic to see what might be on her and around the area.
Okay.
I'll
Remember-
go cast Identify too on the pendant as they're doing that before we get ready for the other stuff.
Okay.
Gerbil will remind us about the crystals. Remember the problems we dealt with Wineta way back in Fairweather.
What was that? I'm sorry, Jabal. I don't even remember.
That wasn't at our time. That still happened, right? The whole thing with Wineta and Gren.
The what?
Way back in Fairweather, when Wineta helped us, she had a crystal in her arm that started to
Yes, that still
do
happened.
stuff, and we had to. All right,
Mhm.
It's in green in my notes, so yeah.
and
Green means go.
Yeah, red means
Gerbil-
yoink.
Wineta had a crystal in her arm, and we had to almost chop off her arm.
Oh,
Is that Gerbil turned to Tegan? Isn't that how?
It wasn't exactly
Gren
the
died?
most precise of operations.
yeah.
It was it Kring? No, not Kring. Kring.
Which
Right.
one? Chris?
Yeah.
Christ is the
There's
brother.
Chris and
Right.
Craig.
Chris
died
Christ is the one who's
from the
alive. No,
shards.
wait. Which one's the one alive?
Kring. I mean, Chris. Chris. No, Chris is the one alive.
The other way
Kring
around.
is the one
Christ
that
is the
died.
one alive. Kring is
Okay.
Yeah.
the punk that,
Alright.
that died. All right.
Okay.
And also, remember Kring, the one who, also, I can't remember. Did Pixford tell us about Jocelyn? What happened to Jocelyn?
And the pendant.
I feel like that.
I don't remember.
I don't know. I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I don't know the context.
It's
Anyway,
okay.
18
I mean, she
on the
might
medicine.
say something
Yeah,
now. I'm sorry.
Oh,
that's true.
no, you're true. You're true. You're true, Dan.
Right? You know what?
Well,
I do believe
the
in myself.
role says
and therefore
that
I am true.
Pixarin is looking at something else. Someone could ask her, but she's not noticing you.
Okay.
You're still kind of looking down at the shore, the ocean.
Oh. Pixarin?
Yes.
I want to catch my stuff. Is this the an accent? Is this some like Jocelyn's? There's a pendant here. Can you take a peek and tell us if we're thinking of dispelling this
Yeah, I can take a look
after
at
she
it.
wakes up? Oh, thank you. I'm casting identify now, but if there's anything you know about Jocelyn and the crystals, I know the poor lad looked like he was taken over by it as well.
I know that he had one and he took it off.
He did. Did you say how?
Well, we were together and,
Hey.
I was talking to him and we were just talking and I was asking a few things that I shouldn't have been asking. And he seemed exasperated and then he took it off and he threw it to the side. I don't really know. I mean, I know that they were listening to him, but I don't know how. But then he said that even with the device off of him, that he was hearing voices, that they were still in his head.
Oh,
Be
I think-
that.
Yeah. It was really scary.
Be that the pendant is what knocked him get out.
What?
Could it be that the pendant is what knocked him get out?
Oh, I don't know. Jocelyn wasn't knocked out. I mean, he might be now, but
just seemed to be. I did notice like she was holding her head for a minute. Like, there was a headache or pressure that I dare say maybe she was fighting with this control and it was too much.
I know that Jocelyn seemed okay. Jocelyn seemed like he was fighting headaches or something after he took it off, and he was talking to me about how they were still there and that he still heard voices of things in his head. But that was after he took the pendant off even, so I don't know. Because then, we had our fun and then he left, I suppose, to go back to the library.
See. Well, let me take a look at this pendant and maybe that'll give us some answers.
Okay,
I'll
that
go
seems
back
like a
to it
good
the other time.
idea.
18 on the medicine check.
Okay. She is, you are just checking to see if, she's conscious or, pulse.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
She still has a pulse. Definitely seems like she's probably unconscious rather than,
Okay.
dead. Her breathing seems a little shallow. But she
Okay.
is still breathing, and it doesn't seem too labored.
Okay. I will cast at first level, Cure Wounds.
Okay.
And I'll roll the number for you. Boop. 7 points of healing.
Okay. Jesus. You can definitely tell that she's rousing, but she still seems very still just trying to collect herself, you know.
There. I'm identifying, sorry.
So you're identifying Casil, right? The pendant?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
Let's see, can I do anything else? Gentle repel. No, I don't want to
Okay.
do that.
So you can tell Casil, definitely a magical item. Does not require attunement. It seems like that there is something of a scrying spell on here. Probably one of the most. Could you do an Arcana check for me, really quick?
Mm-hmm.
With advantage, since you're doing this identify.
Nice. All right, 15 and 12, so 15 plus 5, dirty 20.
Okay. This is probably one of the most. I don't remember. I'm sorry. I don't remember if you've identified other, like if you cast identify on those crystal, on those balls in the chest. If you cast identify on the crystal spheres in the chest back at Cullum's house.
I think I had.
I think he did. He did.
So this definitely seems familiar like that,
Oh,
except probably about twice as powerful, maybe 3 times as powerful.
damn. Oh.
This seems there is a lot of magic put into this, as of a scrying kind.
Okay.
As you take a close look at it, I will say that you see almost like a swirling cloud inside of it.
All right.
And let's see. Make a fresh perception check for me really quick.
Okay. It's 9 plus perception, 19.
Okay. And almost like as you're kind of looking closer and closer at it, and the pendant's only like, it's not that big. The pendant's only like probably a football field. I'm just kidding.
One bread box.
One bread box. Probably like only like an inch and a half, maybe even like an inch.
Okay.
Almost like a kind of like a kind of a bulbous teardrop shape. But inside this kind of swirling mist, you see almost like a very faint flash of an eye. There you go.
Is it an eye that I recognize?
An eye
Just
symbol.
kidding.
Well, I mean, it is very small, but I mean, it does. I mean, it almost has this kind of flat look to it. No, that doesn't work.
You pull it out, go, oh.
Is there a she got it? Oh.
But yeah.
I'm sorry, the symbol of an eye, like the eye symbols?
Yeah.
Or,
It looks like
okay.
a flat image of an eye.
Oh, okay. Just the eye, no, none of the lines either way.
Hard to tell with like the mist
Okay.
swirling around it. You know, it's kind of like appearing inside the mist. And it's it's such a small, like, you know, image. It's hard to tell.
It was not done in Illustrator. This will not scale. I'll share with everyone.
Okay.
It's not powerful and about the eye and everything.
Maybe that should be the first thing you dispel if it's scrying magic.
That's a very good idea.
Rhaenyra, you said you cast a detect magic?
Yes.
Let me go over to you really quick then. I mean, of course, you're seeing magic coming from this pendant. Are you standing near Ingot there at the shore and the other end?
I would be near Ingot
Seal
first. I would
and-
prioritize looking over her, and then I'm probably gonna head back into whatever hovel we came out of with all the
Okay.
treasure and stuff.
Okay. So there are things that you see. Because what? Detect magic lasts for 10 minutes?
10 minutes, yep.
Yeah. Okay, so if you're starting there and then walking back, let me give you a quick rundown. You are, of course, seeing magic from this pendant. Very, very strong magic. Ingot seems to kind of glow. You see these kind of like little speckles of magic kind of from her body. Seems less of like I mean, of course you're getting the divination magic from the pendant. From Ingot herself and from these crystals kind of embedded in her, it's less of like a school and just more of like just a strong aura of arcane. You are also seeing kind of a mix. It's interesting. Like a mix of schools kind of radiating from the very ground. Wait, what did I miss? What are we giggling at?
Why
It's
else?
chat, and we're 12-year-olds.
Oh, God. So,
Different magics, different
yeah, you see
things
almost
coming
Very
from
many
the crystals.
almost like radiating from the ground, from the bones that are in the sand and the skulls, even moving into the water. And kind of like an arcane aura kind of coming off of this kind of intermixed black sand as well. Let's see here. You are moving back. You would see the egg, because you sat that pretty much right there close to the front, to that entrance where you walked out into the sand, right, Savar?
Yes.
As you approach the egg that's still sitting there, you see a soft glow of arcana coming from the egg as well. A little bit of divination and a little bit of, I think, evocation. Yeah.
It's like pew pew damage.
It's a bomb.
Did you say it's a bomb?
Yeah.
So
Crack the
you
red
see
speckle.
a little bit coming off of that. As you look out onto the rest of the sand and stuff, as you're walking back walking towards the egg, and you see kind of more of the sand and more of the water, you see that kind of same kind of mixed glow, as if mixing a bunch of colors together on a palette. Looking inside, you see that kind of same glow from the one egg, kind of coming off of an aura off of the rest of the nest that you can't really see into unless you kind of walk more towards it. But it seems to be about the same schools of magic coming off of those. As you're walking by the egg and kind of looking around, could you make sorry, I got completely, my mind just went blank, stopped working for a couple of seconds. Stephanie EXE has stopped working. Could you make a perception check for me, please? Fresh one.
17.
Okay.
Nice.
As you walk by the egg, you hear a kind of it catches your attention that you look over. So it's not that you hear anything, but you look over at the egg and you see this kind of glow of magic kind of thump brighter and then brighter. Kind of almost like a heartbeat from the egg. You don't hear anything. It's just this kind of aura of magic that's coming off of the egg that you see kind of like brighter and then dim, brighter and then dim, almost like a heartbeat.
Got it.
Zavar,
while I'm going by here, please be very careful with that egg. While it doesn't seem like much, there is power pulsing from within it.
I've set it down, and I have no intention of picking it back up again. It was heavy and unwieldy the first time. And now, considering that it might be something more interesting, trust me, I will keep my hands off of it, unless someone asks me to help with something. But you go right ahead. I would like to see.
If it's as heavy as you say it is, I would rather not.
All right. Juniper, I had you roll, was it perception or investigation? Oh, was it? I can't hear you.
You're muted.
You're muted!
Dang it. Okay, it was investigation and I rolled a 13.
I will say that, as you make your way across this kind of like bumpy sand, you're kind of moving like towards the back where I said that you saw the holes kind of dug in the sand.
Yes.
As you move closer, and you start kind of going back towards that kind of area of the island. It's not that big of an island. It's, I think, according to the map, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, like 50 by 50 probably. So you start moving back towards the other side that the rest of everyone has been to. You start seeing these little kind of holes in the ground. Not really like little holes, but almost like the bones and the skulls have been dug up in some areas. Like there are kind of holes into the sand that have filled up with water since then from the shore. Almost like if you dig a hole in the sand at the beach. And it looks like some of these, like there are holes that looks like that skulls and bones have been removed that have been kind of like concaved in from what, from the sand and from the water. And then as you kind of move towards the back, you see that there are almost like 3 or 4 kind of like not too old. It almost looks like graves. Sand and rock have been like placed into piles that look about body sized. And there's 2 of these, or there's 3 of these, and 1 partially constructed one. That looks like it was started. You can see a few bones inside because it's not completely covered, but then it doesn't look like it was finished. But you can see that there are flaws in these graves as they're mostly above ground because, you would assume the sand and the water beneath. So pieces of it have kind of like, fallen away and they look very just kind of messy.
But they're mostly made of just rocks piled over.
Yeah. Looks like that they've tried with some sand to kind of push it up, and then rocks were kind of placed over. You might see like maybe a board here and there of wood, okay. But very makeshift.
Shuni has an interest in wondering how much of them is left. Not to be disrespectful, but these bodies could be us. So she'll turn towards the ocean, at least so she has something pleasant to look at, and try and pull away some of the rocks to see if she can see if there's flesh or if it's just more bones underneath.
Okay. Make a strength check, and I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Kazeel, what's up? Or let me check in with the other people I have. I'm sorry. Zavar, what are you up to during this time? You have Kazeel. I was going to say Frank. You have Kazeel, Tegan, kind of looking over, kind of there around Ingot. Rhaenyra's, I'll say he's like in the process of doing his detect magic check. Juniper starts wandering back towards the back of the island that y'all haven't really been to yet, seemingly very interested in something.
Zafar might actually start heading back towards where Juniper is.
Okay.
Just casually.
Make a
Hands in his pocket, just whistling.
make a perception check, since you're not like investigating actively for a certain thing.
Right, I just step away from the situation. It's becoming very toxic.
10.
Bless you. Yeah, you're following Juniper towards the back, as casual as possible. Yeah, and you see her just kind of looking at some graves, if you want to have any interaction. And some like holes in the ground.
So, find anything interesting? Yeah.
She's just
Actually,
holding her hand up for that flask. I don't know yet, but you
Oh.
can help me look.
yeah, I'll
So-
totally open up my flask and hand it over.
She's just not even looking at him, just. And she'll, oh God, I don't know how you can drink this. And,
Years of practice.
and yeah, there's
like, oh, watch me do this.
graves here. We
Okay.
probably are supposed to be us.
But it's a terrifying thought.
Yeah.
You're,
Well,
if I understood what I saw earlier, I wanted to say how impressed I was with that display. I've never seen anyone move water like that in my life. I can see
Wow.
why you love being by the water so much.
it is considerably harder to do without an ocean. Yes.
How are you feeling now that you're back to the water?
I thought I'd be a lot more excited to get out of that hellscape, but just I think we just tumbled into some other kind of hell. Anyways, help me unbury this.
Sure. I'm happy to.
So you may roll an advantage on that strength check, Juniper, and I'll come back to you. Gerbil, what are you up to?
Gerbil would have kind of always keeping an eye on Ingot, but he would also pay close attention to what Kazeel's doing with that pendant. After a while, seeing Tegan try to heal Ingot, and and how she's still not doing that great, Gerbil will sigh and finally kind of lower his bow a bit, and he'll go over to Tegan and give him a potion of healing for Ingot. Like, here.
I'll administer it.
And then while he's administering the potion of healing, Gerbil's gonna he's gonna pull out a sending stone. He's gonna
did it right in front of us. Bruh.
I'm trying to think who was the last person we talked to. He's gonna pull out Lashta's sending stone.
Okay.
This is Gerbil. Are you okay? We had a confrontation with the library, and we seem to be in a different place, different plane, probably. Not sure if time has passed. That's all.
Okay. You.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Did you see that first?
I think last time we talked to Lashta,
Yeah.
she was.
Yeah, I had something written down, so I'll just see if I can find it really quick before I try to just remember off the top of my head. Let's see here. So, we'll say that. Let's see here. Go ahead and roll for that.
It's just the way it's done.
I have something we can jump in if you need a minute.
I
No problem. Just one offer.
I think I'm good. Yeah. So it's about Dribble. You almost think that you're not going to get an answer back. But just as you're about ready to kind of, just kind of be like, oh, well, maybe it just didn't get through, or they're busy. You hear, hey, it's been maybe 10 days, maybe 8 since you last messaged me. I'm in England. Like I said, we'll check in later. That's it.
Dribble. I'll say Tegan since he's still by Tegan and Ingot. Just heard back from Lashta. She says it's been 8 or 10 days since she last heard from us, which I believe last time I sent a message for us, it was right before we went in to talk to the library, or the night before. It wasn't 10 days ago.
It's some distortion, but not horrible.
Which that's a little. I mean, it's comforting because I was afraid it'd be longer, but also it'll point at Ingot. That means all that happened to her within 10 days, which I'm no expert, but that seems like a lot to do to somebody in 10 days.
So, here's my dilemma. I've used quite a bit of magic. I have enough to cast either some dispelling magic with Renarius, I can use my sending spell. Try and reach out to Colin or someone that we feel is powerful as a wizard that might help. That I think is still on our side.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
My opinion would be, I think you need to dispel that pendant and try to, I guess, do something about these crystals and ingot. Because
Yes.
we could try contacting Cullum later, but I have a feeling Cullum is probably tied up. I can also check in with Geneva and Dirk, see what they're doing.
Oh, right. I have to be honest. I don't even know if I can dispel this.
Yeah,
This is incredible.
let's
Well,
try.
Well, then
Yeah,
throw it in the ocean.
yeah, we don't have
Right,
to take
if
it with
it's
us.
trained, right, it
Yeah.
has to say it's still range, and they can see or hear. So maybe is there something heavy? Were any chests in there we can put some stones in with this and just really send it flying?
Well,
I'm gonna go look for some. Sorry, Tegan, please. No.
okay. Let's just try to see what Ingot says, and he's going to give the potion to Ingot, and you want me to roll?
Do I
for it?
roll or you roll? I don't know.
Yeah,
You can roll.
All right. 2d4 plus 4. Ooh, nice. 8 plus 2, 10.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice. That was 10 healing for Ingot, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That's max, baby.
Ingot will immediately sit up and
It's odd, isn't it?
what?
Fighting the control.
It's not that.
Oh,
We need to destroy the pendant.
this you figured we'd throw it in the ocean or something. If you like, I can go over there before you answer. I can go around behind the building. I'll try and cover it up a bit with my hands.
It was. Yeah. It's wild.
It doesn't matter. I'm doomed now anyways. They're gonna come after me.
We'll help you.
Try to get someplace safe.
Someone that knows what to do.
Can they find you without the pendant?
You can find anyone.
They did send us here and had her waiting for us, so they know we're here.
Right.
This isn't exactly a safe place. Whether
I think
don't-
I
Don't plan on
think
being
you're
here
fine.
longer.
They don't, but they do know that you were at least trying to convince me. And, well, she will speak into your mind, Kazil.
Mhm.
You should destroy it immediately. Please.
Okay, while it's in my hands, I'm gonna cast Dispel Magic on it.
Okay. Was it okay.
I have to cast it at a 4th level because it's the only spell slot I have, which is one higher than usual. So if it's a 4th level spell or lower, it's automatic. If it's higher, I'll have to roll.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Let's see.
The DC would be 10 plus whatever the spell's level is.
Yeah, go ahead and roll, Kazil.
Inspiration.
Yeah.
Can I do that?
Oh,
Mhm. Yeah, you can give your inspiration. You can go ahead and use your
nice,
inspiration.
Joe.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Taste of your own medicine.
That's amazing.
You look over it, like Renarius is like
I'm
like
I
leaning
can-
suggestively against the wall.
Yeah.
I can do this. Yeah. Okay, let me just check what I need to use. Make an ability check using which is your spellcasting ability, which is thanks to the tome +6. Okay. That's a dirty 20, which I think
There's auto. Yeah.
So, I
just
You should watch it.
yeah, so the it passes, it works. So I would say
can
with
I get
your
crumbled?
kind of arcane ability that you have, Kazil, that you kind of definitely can feel that kind of the magical power that was once pulsing in your hand has not dissipated.
Oh, job well done.
You look-
The moment has passed.
I'll wipe my hands. No, I'll just look at it and throw it in the ground in the sand. And Barrett kicks some sand over
Ingot's
it.
watching every move.
I'll try and reply to her message too. I don't know if I can, if it's of that kind, but I'll say back like, "It's done."
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think
Oh,
that
okay.
you can. So you would go to try Kazil, and it doesn't seem like it quite.
Okay, I'm just nodding at her knowingly, like she heard.
Yeah. So Ingot sits there. I will say, since this is all kind of happening at once, Tegan, was there anything that you were wanting to do? I just don't want to make sure I miss anyone's shot.
Well, I would just probably after that, I would just probably ask Ingot, "What can we do for you now?" And how do we get out of here?
Sorry, you'll have to excuse me. I have 1,000 voices in my head right now. So excuse me if I seem a little
Like,
out of sorts.
sorry.
Is it the crystals? Is it the spirits?
That, and she kind of looks towards where, what did you say you did with the crystal after you dispelled it?
I threw it on the ground. I'd probably say at that point, because it doesn't matter, I'd be like, it's done. It's dispelled. So it's out loud so
she'll
everyone
kind of
knows.
look at the ground where you threw it down. That also keeping an eye on us. It also stops this. And with it gone, with them knowing, this is all I have.
Nasty fail safe.
That's how
It's
I'm
like. And she kind of motions out to the ocean, having all of them screaming at you at once.
Who's them?
The mages. She kind of holds up one of her arms. Inside these.
Yeah.
Gerbil,
She starts picking at her arm at one of the crystals.
Gerbil's gonna kind of dig through his bag. I don't know if this will do anything, but he'll pull out some of the vials of potions he got from Kalos way back when Gerbil got stabbed with Shiga.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Nice.
I was once infected with Shiga by by a cursed weapon of some sort. This didn't cure it, but it helped. Do you want to give it a shot?
Kiki's just like
I mean, sure.
I'll give her a vial. So I think it was only like I could only have one a day. It was trippy. So
She'll take the vial, pop out the cork, and then just down it.
Mm.
That's something.
it's. I'd apologize for the taste, but you did try to kill us, so it's okay. We're even now. He'll say jokingly as a bugbear. Oh, you give me dirty looks. Third time she's trying to kill us.
Does help a bit. At least quiets half of them, it seems. Thank you.
So we'll go ahead and give her the rest of the vials. Don't use them all at once.
Do you know how many are left, Gerbil?
4.
Okay.
I had 5 and I gave her 1, so there's 4 left.
Has 4 vials of Gerbil's fluid.
Oh, jeez.
Technically, they're calluses,
It's
which
a big bugbear.
Right?
Very virile. Very virile.
One shot, yeah. Whoa. But as
the
Tegan
vial
asked,
is just as a water bottle.
Yes.
It's the vial.
as Tegan asked, what can we do for you to help? Tegan, what was the clan in the northwest? I'll rack my brain for
Well, where Kalos was, or
No,
the one.
Gerbil
keeping
knows
the
what
down-
these-
yeah.
Gerbil
hold on.
knows what he's talking about. The group they didn't like.
Yeah,
The one
that John
that-
took us to. Yeah,
Well, no.
not took us.
No,
but-
it's here in.
We heard
Dunglint,
rumors. Yeah, we heard rumors. And
Hold on.
what was their name? Gerbil knows who you're talking about because he's been getting lots of signs about heading north, and so
Mhm.
he's.
There's a clan in the northwest of Dunglint that seems to be in direct opposition to the library. Can they help you? Are
Lisa
they-
Deer. Lisa Deer.
No,
Lisa
no,
Deer.
No, Lisa Deer
No.
was where we went. No,
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Not I have bright ones underlined. I
Are
don't
you
think
talking
that's
about
actually-
the Northern Crown place?
Yes, that's the island, but there's people
What about it?
there. Well,
It seems to be in direct
There.
opposition. The people
Oh,
there
that
to the
place.
library. Something about. I figured if anyone can help undo this, perhaps it's the library's enemies. The enemy of our enemy and all.
Maybe. You might have a point. Yeah, a bunch of upstarts there. Don't go along with the library. Good for them.
Wait, are they also the people that have been abducting children?
I'm sorry?
There was a group of people that were taking people against their will, including children. That
well, we know for a fact the library also did that.
they
That's the whole reason I'm here.
would you be willing to travel with us just for a time? To travel with us for a time while we head up there, perhaps, if everyone's feels alright heading in that direction? Or
I will say that not everyone's there around you. Juniper and
Oh,
Zavar
okay.
are definitely absent. You look around and Juniper and Zavar are gone.
Oh,
Because
According to my notes,
you wouldn't
sorry.
be able to see them from that side of the building.
okay. I'll say to Renarius and Tegan and Gerbil.
the
like
bright ones. The
Yeah,
bright
the-
ones is what I have.
Hey, the bright ones. Hey.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's what they call them.
Well, we could travel there. There's,
Well, first, this begs the question. We're not on Dim Glimt, are we? Where are we?
Why wouldn't you be on Dim Glimt?
Well, that's why I'm asking. I don't remember oceans
Yeah,
being in
you're-
Dim Glimt.
It's only in this area. It's a thing. It ends, it starts. It doesn't go over the whole continent. It's just in this one area.
oh, I see.
She's still picking out crystals individually from her arm, bleeding.
Can we dispel any of that, or just heal you while you do it to help lessen that load?
I don't think you can dispel them. It's just spirits with mages.
Gerald, that trap, how many souls can it hold at once?
Hold on. I have it. Cryptora's Soul Cage. It can hold up to 5, but the problem is there's a chance
Right.
that it gets anybody in the radius, including our souls. So it's
It's like unleashing a big trap.
It-
Hey,
yes. But all
How-
unbodied souls
mhm.
are immediately destroyed. And then there's a chance for a bodied soul.
oh, all
So-
embodied?
Everybody,
All
just any
all
soul.
all the unbodied souls will immediately be affected, up to 5.
Okay, gotcha.
But then any bodied souls in the area, there's a
Gotcha.
20% chance you die.
Ooh, that's
You're
pretty
dead.
nasty.
Um,
I'll explain it to her. Like, if things get bad, I don't even know how many you have in here or how exactly it works or is quantified, but we have this that does this in case at any point you felt it worth it to take that risk.
5
But if you have
souls.
to, I don't even know
Five souls.
if you had to do it
If I die, I
more than once, I'd say it wouldn't be worth it because of
Well-
the danger.
I think it uses up 5, and that's it for the cage.
Do you
Oh,
see all of
just
these?
5.
So
She
Hey?
kind of points to like several crystals in her arms.
Mhm.
And these?
Hey.
Oh, in the neck. That's not going to be easy.
Each
Who?
one of these holds a spirit.
Oh.
That's what gave me the power boost that I asked
I see.
for. So yes, I asked for this. Sure.
No, but we
Didn't
will
expect
help
to
you.
not want it.
I understand. There's nothing simple or clear cut. There's so many things going on, factors in this. Don't you worry about it. But we're here to help. I feel like I failed you before many times over, so I want to do my best to see things through. Didn't we know someone that was taking these out moderately efficiently?
Regina.
It
Well-
was-
I thought there was someone
But
at
who was
Fair-
working with Regina? I'm trying to remember.
There was someone at
Jocelyn.
the Fairview or whatever it was college too.
I mean,
I thought.
we got Wineta's out, and so Wineta, she was working with Jocelyn. So
Back then, we didn't see her at Estacia, did we?
no, I don't
No.
think we've ever seen Regina, except Renarius.
No, not Regina. Wineta.
Wineta went
Oh,
with the
Wineta.
packs.
Last time we saw
I think with the
Wineta
packs.
was she was
She went back home to Borhan, didn't she?
yeah. And I can't remember if we
If we got
because
word
this is when
about her after
time
that.
changed.
Yeah.
Because we met her in that coastal village where Gerbil got the the potions that he just used when he was stabbed. We saw Winata there, but then that whole experience shifted with the time thing. So,
can we message her and see if this is
I
to
mean,
explain the situation?
if I remember right, we had to help get the crystal out of her. She wasn't exactly.
Right.
She was just helping us and got caught up in all that. Then she gave her robo dog to Gimbal, and Gimbal left.
Should we try and reach out to Colin? Or do we not trust Colin?
I mean, I think we could reach out to Cullum if you want, but I think he's probably has his hands full as well. You know,
Maybe.
we don't even know. You could cast, you can message him and use sending, but he's not even where we saw him. He moved, remember?
Right,
So-
right. He could let us know.
But also, if the library. Well, wait. Did we find out that Z's dead? Which wasn't
It's insinuated.
wasn't
It's
Cullum
kind of
on
heard.
a whole mission to save Z?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's probably not in a good place right now.
But things are fairly dire. It couldn't have hurt just to ask him. If he says "fuck off," then we'll do so.
You're the one who does sending.
I'll have to rest. I'm out.
Tegan's going to ask Ingot, are you well enough to travel? How do we get away from this island?
I don't know. I was sitting here by the library.
Gerbil,
Okay.
Gerbil
I
will
don't know how
kind
to
of look.
sail.
Oh, wait.
Of course, I'm in a place that's surrounded by water.
We see that the map on tabletop, is that accurate to what we see?
Yeah.
So Gerbil will kind of turn around and see the boat by the broken dock. They're like, well, there's some boats here, and hey, we have. He'll go around the building and look for Judy.
Okay. So you see, there where everyone else is except for Juniper and I was going to say Mason, Zavar. You see one boat. If you go over there and look at it, Gerbil, it's a small boat. It holds maybe 2.5 people. Like 2 full people and a small person, okay? Like a child or a dwarf.
Or a dragon.
Those of
Somebody
ours.
chopping
then.
up bodies, then
Going
Hey,
going
now.
over to really quick, Gerbil. So I don't want to interrupt you, Gerbil, but before you go back to Juniper and Zavar, is there anything that you?
Gerbil would have just checked to make sure that he hasn't been paying too much attention after the battle. He's gonna go make sure Judy and Zavar are
Okay.
everyone's alive.
All right. So you start
Just-
walking back towards that way. Real quick, Reneria, since you haven't really had a chance to speak up, what is there anything that you're doing specific, or are you just kind of being over there with Ingot and the others?
After I walked past the dragon egg, I wanted to take a peek inside at all the treasure and stuff just to see if there was anything magical in that pile.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that would have happened pretty quickly because that your thing only lasted. So yeah. Let's go ahead and handle that really quick. So let's see here. All right. Make a quick investigation check for me. How about perception? Make a perception check for me, please.
Perception is trash balls. I got a 3.
Okay, but you do have a detect magic still up, like you were doing that at the same time, right?
Yes.
Towards the end. Just for funsies, why don't you roll again for me? Just for
Yeah.
shits and
Go
giggles.
collect every light.
For funsies, I got an 8, but I'm gonna blow a lucky because Why not?
Nice. I didn't use the inspiration either.
I mean,
so you've
here,
got that stuff.
here's like, I will say with detect magic, you would be able to see some glows of magical things underneath some gold in a couple of the piles. Are you investigating that?
Yeah,
To
I'll
take
probably
a
dig
look?
through. I don't have much to say to Ingrid.
You do find a scroll.
Nice.
That upon investigation looks like that it is for identify.
Nice.
And you also find a wand of some sort. I can't tell you what it
Alright.
was, but you have to cast
Right.
identify. But I will say, let's see here. Let me see what school of magic that is. And you'd be able to see that. Emanating enchantment magic.
Uh-huh. Good to know.
And yeah, I mean, and you can also pick up some gold there. Are you picking up anything else or just looking for those magic items?
I'll pick up the magic items for now.
Okay, all right. That's what you got?
Yep.
So you were looking for that. So let's go back to Juniper and Zavar. Mason is Zavar now because every time I'm like, so you both rolled, let's see, strength, you rolled a 16 twice, right, Juniper?
Yeah.
Okay, so you are, just to remind me, since I'm jumping back and forth, you're moving these stones to look into the graves, correct?
Yeah.
So as you, these for funsies really quick. So you start moving these stones. Are you just doing it for one grave? Or for more than one? Because there's 3 here, I think that said were finished. One was only halfway done.
Probably go for the halfway done one since that's probably less rocks. Really just looking to see how recent these values are, if they're not just bones already. If there's anybody the party knows, since they know everyone, and Junie knows no one. Or if it's a satyr,
So you're looking at the partially done one, correct?
Yeah.
So you kind of like glance in. The stones aren't fully on it. With Zavar's help, you're able to move the stones that are there.
Okay.
It looks like it's not completely done, but it looks like someone tried to lay out bones and a skull in the order of like a skeleton, in like, how a skeleton would be put together. So they have laid them down into this kind of sand that it looks like that they impacted with some rocks. You see some black sand kind of shimmering in there as well with an kind of odd sparkle to it, which you're not really extremely familiar with. But the skeleton isn't completely finished. Not all the pieces are there. Some are missing. It looks like maybe like they stopped halfway through. Make a fresh investigation check for me.
Also 16.
Okay. You will find a single piece of gold. So 1 gold coin. And kind of, it looks like maybe laid in the place where its hand would be. You will also find almost hidden, just like buried in the sand under a rock. It looks like from some of the collapse from the grave. You will find a piece of paper that has scribbled on it this very interesting handwriting that's almost scriptive but hard to read. That says Jerdid Nikkei. And I will actually send that to you
Thank
in
you.
a message here.
Thank you.
Giurd.
I mean, Jurdid. Close.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
I
Gerbil.
got a little too fancy
Okay.
with the G.
So, yeah, just kind of scribbled on there, and that's it. And that's all you
Okay.
see, besides the bones.
Okay. Well, she'll look at, she'll thank Zavar for helping her. I'm sorry to desecrate this body. I just want to know what we're up against. It sounds like,
Oh,
no.
I forgot kind of an important note, because you rolled a 16 with investigation, right?
Yes.
You will see in almost this kind of like mud, dried mud smeared on the skull's forehead, an eye symbol with, it looks like maybe 3 dots above it.
Have I seen this eye symbol before?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes,
I'll
it does
flash
look
around the eye
familiar.
stuff.
It does look familiar. Yes.
Hmm.
It's a little faded in spots, but your investigation roll was decent enough that you'd be able to recognize it.
Hmm.
It looks like it was like finger painted on there with mud or something.
Or something.
Or poop. Unsure.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Zavar, here, hold this. No.
Only way to tell is to taste it.
Yeah.
Give me that booze. Okay. Well, I don't know that I found any answers. I don't know this name, and I can't imagine the chances of us knowing this person. But just bones then. Nothing. No recent bodies down in this watery prison. Zavar, how do you feel about looking at the others? Do you think it matters?
Do I think what matters?
If we dig them up, do you have any objections?
Uh,
I'd rather let the ocean take them.
I'm not sure. I've never really had to think about the ramifications of digging up bones. I'm usually just I'm used to drinking and punching. I usually don't think about such things.
Bless.
Yeah. Think about what happens after you're done punching.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or drinking.
Sometimes they fall down. Sometimes we laugh and drink until we both fall down.
Okay.
I have rarely visited any grave sites or been near this kind of situation. I've heard others that seem to have opinions about the bones and the bodies of those that have gone, but I have never really thought about it. I just
All right. Juniel's just, she's just sitting there in the sand now next to an open grave.
I
Trying
will
not to
say
find
that's
my
when
head.
Gerbil walks around.
Oops.
And just as
It's
Gerbil
timing.
walks around, everyone make a perception check for me, please.
Dirty 20.
Okay.
8.
You need me? Perception.
Yeah, perception.
Nat
Well.
20
Ooh.
Oh,
for
nice.
27.
Wow.
Ooh.
12 for
Six.
Gerbil.
and 16.
19.
Okay.
Mason got my 16.
Gerbil, what did you roll?
12.
Kazil, you got what, a 20, 21?
A dirty 20.
Okay.
Mhm.
Kazil and Tegan. As you kind of like look up and look around while you're talking to Ingot, both of you at the same time notice in the sky, it's still partially sunny. You can tell that it's going to start getting dusk soon, but you're kind of in the last like half hour of sunlight probably. So almost at like a we'll say like against where the sun is setting, you see this creature, something, up in the sky, kind of blocking the sun a bit, flying towards you, it seems. And you see these glints of purples and blues and pinks. And you hear a screech, which both of you make an intelligence check for me real quick.
Intelligence check. Okay.
Because you'll do it with advantage.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh my gosh, natural 20
Who's
the second
touching
time.
my baby?
For 21.
Okay.
First one was an 8 total, so I'll take the 20. Or
Tegan,
21 rather.
what did you roll?
Ingot.
What? Tegan.
You said, oh, Tegan. I thought you said
yeah,
Ingot.
no. Tegan. I was like,
Ingot
no.
too.
Egan and Ingot have been the same person all along. Twist.
Ah!
Intelligence check.
Mm-hmm.
That makes that whole like river scene from the very beginning very interesting.
Yes.
13.
Okay. Kazeel,
Mhm.
you recognize this screech as, or it sounds the same as the screeches heard back at the Estesa from the sky from the dragon you talked to.
The one you hit on that denied you.
Nice.
And that's
instantly.
where we'll take our bio break.
Okay.
Aw.
Okay,
Time
so
to go.
for those
Oh, gosh.
watching, we take a 10-minute bio break. So stay tuned. We'll be back in 10 minutes. All right. See ya.
Could you imagine like randomly finding the creep who hit on you
Lights are
next
hot.
to your kids?
It's more like Kazeel gets a second chance at his dragon hunt.
Yay.
I don't think that's how that works.
I think that's what Kazeel thinks.
I've got this.
Oh,
Sit
God.
tight.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Someone's
it's definitely
striking the
not how
music.
Kazeel thinks. Yeah. Well, we'll be back, and then I'll be
Wait,
right back. But,
He's gonna open by calling this dragon by the wrong name.
Oh god, no.
Yep.
Lucy,
Lucy,
Leah. It started with an L, right? Give me that.
Yeah, Lucy, because I was thinking Lucy and the Sky Diamonds. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
Dragon you! Ah.
Oh, my sweet legs. Holy crap.
Oh, my sweet legs.
The importance of the mute button.
Hopefully he remembers it's hot. Guess we'll find out. Oh, thanks, Dan.
Lily, you still want that Miguel?
Yes, please.
Girl, you don't use this at all? For yours?
I love this shirt. My wife hates it.
The slut shirt, Joe.
The best.
Its eyes are your man boobs.
I know you have to have that shirt that makes your boobs look great, and this
And
is my
that's it.
shirt.
That does it.
Oh,
There you go.
That does it.
Indeed.
Sad, happy.
Yeah, I love it. It's so great, Joe.
Wow.
That's all I heard too.
Yay, I can do a Star Wars impression. That's not.
It's nice to expand your.
That's what I call out when I.
Cool. Yeah, nice. You gotta show everyone, because I think it was I forget when you did it, but your '90s sitcom kid voice.
Oh, what
Here.
was it with the eucalyptus?
Eucalyptus. Yeah. Like I got my eucalyptus.
I got my eucalyptus today. No one expects the eucalyptus. I need to get my camera set up right. I have this whole boom stand that I've just not set up yet because I'm a failure. I'm kidding. That was a kidding, self-deprecating remark that I didn't mean. But
Gotcha.
Okay, do I have all my shiitake?
Joe, you remember what the safe word was?
No.
From our meeting with the library? Because that's when
Wasn't
Tegan's
it-
going to start.
Bug out.
Was
Bug
it
out.
pineapple or something?
No, it was bug out.
Bug out.
Bug out
Tegan's
the
going
bug
to start
out.
shouting, bug out, bug out, bug out. We got to get
Was
out
he
of
there
here.
at that
'Cause-
episode?
I think so, but we either, whether you were there or not, we made sure you do because you were the one we bug out to. Because you're the one with the amulet of plane shifting. So Renarius does know, hopefully.
Do we still have this? Can we pants?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think it's
unless
a one
Renarius
user.
dropped it.
Unless you want to
No,
talk
yeah.
to the dragon.
No. If Kazeel can, he can stay.
I mean, Kazeel talked to it and it didn't hurt him.
Because she deemed it like a warning.
Plus, I don't think the dragon knew where the hell he was. She just heard a voice
I
in her
think
head.
that dragon knew exactly where anybody in her domain is.
That could
It's
be
a
true.
giant flying crystal dragon that was protecting the library. It knows what's going on.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Hey, are you, what am I being sassed about?
Hold
Running
on.
away from this dragon?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The last time we fought a giant flying thing, I shot one arrow and everyone gave me crap about it for the next
Well, don't shoot an
witty
arrow.
Everyone lost their minds. Yeah, no, I was one of them. I don't think I was there for that one. Actually. Yeah.
I mean, it might not
No,
have.
you
It
were,
might
'cause that
not.
was the
It
one
might
you-
not have fought you if you hadn't have shot the arrow.
Oh.
Well, I'll just let everyone die next time.
Wow.
Brief.
Please, can we bump up the dramaticism here? I don't know if that's
This
a word,
is-
but I
This
missed
is
the
the
word.
this is the bugbear who carried around his wife's severed
This
head.
is
Of
true.
course
This
he's
is true.
dramatic.
Played by a player who did like a 13-page backstory in Comic Sans.
9 page. 9 page. I'll make my next one 13.
Thanks. You're never invited to their campaign, so surprise! I'm just kidding.
Well, twist, I'll run the next campaign. Haha.
That reminds
Be
me
a
of that.
honey heist every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, every week,
Honey
baby.
Heist campaign. It'll be like Ocean's 11. And it'll be like
All
Ocean's
the
12.
time.
And then it will be like
Oh.
Ocean's 13. And then it'll be like Ocean's 8. Because that's how the series worked. It was weird, and now they're changing more. It's like, oh, I should have started with it.
That reminds me of a comic had a routine, like with the scuba diving lessons that he said, you know, they tell you if you see it, if you're approached by a shark, punch it. He says, I don't know if that's the best advice. He says, shark swimming by, you punch it, the shark goes, ow, what are you doing? Well, they told, I was afraid you were going to eat me. Well, I am now.
Hey, I remember that episode of Mythbusters. Go for the eyes.
Doll's eyes, black eyes. Uh-oh, Joe has...
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
it happened.
It's okay. Guess we gotta go to the battle camp.
Open
Yeah,
another
just
bottle.
just finish that one. Chug, chug, chug.
No, thank you.
That's right. We doesn't need your help.
Yeah.
My processor strikes again.
Attack!
Dum dum dum.
Processor.
One person.
Yeah, it's just one.
Listen, and my headphones are in the way. So sue me. Don't. I don't have
Okay.
any money. I'm broke.
But we could get those headphones.
And the eucalyptus.
You hear there's a what?
Eucalyptus.
Sweet boom stand there too. That's not
Listen,
being
I don't want to
used.
hear flat. I'll get it set up this week, okay?
Sure.
Wait, it's not set up yet?
Well, I mean, it's set up. I just need to bring it out and like.
It's
and, like,
95% done. Okay.
It's like a
really
crane.
It really is 95% done. I literally
That's
just have to
awesome.
remember to set it up. Cameras,
How is it 95% done if it's not set
cameras
up?
on it. It just needs to be set up when I need to use it.
I got cameras on here. Well, it sounds like it should be a simple project once you're ready.
What?
That sounds like the rest will be simple once you're ready.
It's setting it up.
Nice.
Literally popping off the boom stand and plugging the camera in. That's what I have to do still.
Will it be set up by episode 100? Tune in.
We
Keep
should
up.
now.
Keep up. I'll extend the break and set it up right now.
No, give us our
That was
give us our
correct.
game time.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
You didn't recognize that. I'm not expecting people to be like, yes.
That's the threat.
Could you?
Don't make me do what I said I was gonna do.
Alright,
Don't make me do it.
I'm just getting these nameplates fixed. What are you eating a bagel?
Looks like a bagel.
It's an everything bagel with garlic and herb
So
and
jealous.
cheese and hot sauce and some garlic salt
I'm about to get
and a little crushed red pepper ground out.
Bagal.
Good lord.
Oh, damn.
So good.
That's
Why?
not
You
and
do
the
this to
acid.
me.
Yeah, and
Then you
gluten.
had to go put hot sauce on it. Good lord.
Nothing on there is most of the time.
That sounds amazing.
By the way.
Oh, good name.
I may be the only one on Team Dan Bagel, but I
No, I know. I mean, it sounds
Yes.
great.
I mean,
I'm on the team.
Oh yeah.
I just
I'm
am jealous that
I'm not a big bagel person.
We're
I
just
can't partake in
watching.
what the team is eating.
They get to watch. That's what happens. And
I didn't pay to watch. I paid to try it. Okay.
Well, I am a Patreon member and I paid to see this. Join our Patreon.
You get to see Dan eat a bagel.
Patreon.com/Matt.
Yeah, it's a new tier.
Maybe we'll get a behind the scenes on the preparation of the bagel.
There you go. Cooking show.
You get to see my boobs look good and slop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sold.
Yep.
I want to hear Joe say, "My eyes are down here."
I love the build up to that. You get to see my boobs like
Oh, it's amazing.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So
The
I have
ice cream bar looks good though. Yo.
everyone's eating things that I can't
Mhm.
have. I don't like it.
Oh, you can't have ice cream.
Uh,
Oh, the
Steph, what's
dairy.
another thing you can't have?
I mean, anything?
Children, why did you bring this up?
oh
Dad?
no.
Is that too dark? I'm sorry.
What? What the hell is that from? I'm
Wait,
sorry.
what?
Nothing. I'm just
From
thinking
real
that.
life friends, okay?
Dan.
Okay.
It just seemed funny to me if that was the case, and Steph was like, "Oh,
We don't talk about that.
Let's get
I'm sorry."
like Bruno. We don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Movie night this Wednesday. Patreon.
What are you watching?
More
Oh,
of
yeah.
this.
Who knows? Steph picked random Irish movies, quote unquote. I don't know.
Guys, I don't want to go into this.
It's a little late.
I chose Irish movies because it's St. Patrick's month. And then I pick Irish movies, and everyone's like, Irish movies?
Why?
No, I didn't say anything about the Irish
I
movies.
asked
I just said
before
I
that.
Were the
never heard of
Leprechaun
any of these
movies on
films.
there?
I asked
No.
before that.
They're not.
Suggestions.
Boondock Saints.
No one gave suggestions.
There you go. Silent Man.
So I came up with some. And then it's
John
like, where
Wayne?
did all these Irish movies come from?
No, I didn't.
Ireland.
Probably.
From
I would
Ireland,
hope.
okay?
Are they
Quiet
fake
man,
Irish?
quiet man.
Oh no.
Taken.
Yeah, they're not legitimate.
Oh god.
The Departed.
I think
Oh.
it's time to go back.
Wait,
It's
I think
over.
it's time
There you go.
to start back to our session.
Great. You just
Departed?
spoke the dragon. You just spoke the
Everyone
You
dragon.
can poke anything.
I did not poke the dragon.
We are
Everyone
dead.
else poked the dragon, and then I just did the last poke.
We're live. Hey! Hi!
Hey.
Y'all been hearing us this entire time. I'm gonna act like you
Yeah,
won't.
we were always like
Hi.
Trouble. We're in
Who?
trouble.
What?
So,
blackmail.
Crazy incoming draft. I'm gonna look down at Tegan like.
Those from not like
Yeah, Tegan's gonna start looking for everybody else and say,
everyone's dead.
yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You've been dead this entire time.
Don't
Oh,
worry, my new backstory.
Lost.
Yep. It's another Lost Incorporation.
Your last episode. Okay. Reel it in, Stephanie. Reel it in.
Okay.
So,
Not Regina's boat.
okay, yeah. So where we left off before we went on our extended break was so that Dan could eat a bagel.
Is coincidental.
Okay, so Tegan and Kazeel you kind
Notice,
of look
yeah.
up. The sun is, about a half hour away from setting. So you see kind of like silhouetted in the sun. It seems to be slowly getting bigger as it's
Yeah, it
flying
is.
towards the island.
If you look at it straight on,
Looks like that it's
Pull out your
like
telescope,
you can see
Seal.
kind of like wings flapping and
Mhm.
see some glints of purple, pink, blues kind of in that sunlight. And I said, Casil, with your rolls, you recognized it as the same, and it let out this. I can't think of any other word but squeal, but that's not the word I think I want.
Roar.
It let out.
Sweet.
Oh no!
It's Kazeel!
It lets out this screech. That's the word. Lets out the screech that Kazil recognized from the bedroom somewhere. No, from Kazil recognized from around the library, up in the clouds. It seems like it might be the same dragon that you talked to before.
well, take a few steps like up next to Tegan since we're both looking at it. Just be like, oh.
All right.
Anyone? I don't know exactly. Like I know Gerbil, you're in the back with you're in the back behind everything with Zavar and Juniper. I'll say that. Veneris, what did you roll? You rolled low, right?
Yeah. It was like an 8, I think.
Okay. Let me roll for Pixar just to see if she notices anything. Nope. Okay, cool. Yeah. So the two of you see the dragon.
All right. I will. Tegan will say to Kazeel, look at Ingot, get her up.
I will say, Tegan, it's a little hard for you to like see. To like, you see the wings, but you don't really. You didn't really recognize the screech.
That's all right.
So you're
Judging from the eggs and the shape of the
okay.
being,
Sure, that's understandable.
it's been in the back of Tegan's mind since we saw the eggs
Mm-hmm.
and the pile of gold. So get her up. We're leaving now. Renarius, get ready to get us out of here. And I'm going to run around the back of the building. And if the first person I see, it's going to be dragon incoming. We're leaving now.
Mhm.
Meet out front. And I'll just make a complete circle. I mean, it's a small island. It shouldn't take me more than 2 turns to go all the way around.
Tegan,
Yes?
could you make a fresh perception check for me, please, as you're running around?
Sure.
We're all gone.
Everyone's not there.
22.
Okay. I would say that because you're kind of running around frantically trying to warn people, as you're
Right.
kind of like lapping this fallen down building, you see kind of off to the as you emerge from the cave, from the spider place. I think I told you what you saw in the east and what you saw in the west. In the east, Stephanie, don't get them mixed up. In the east, you saw like an island, not too far away, but it seems smallish. In the west, you saw an island that looked farther away, with maybe some islands in between. And it looked larger, even though there was some distance. You do notice a boat, pretty good sized ship. About medium size. I mean, it's not huge, but that looks like it could be. I mean, probably still a couple of hours away.
The island or the boat is a couple hours away.
It looks like that it's the boat is a couple of hours away.
Okay. I mean, I'll make note of that information to get once everyone is assembled in the front of the island.
All right.
I will give them their choices. And as if once everyone starts to assemble, they'll start breaking down the choices. And for brevity's sake, we'll limit our discussion debate time to 10 seconds each as he
Sure.
looks at the dragon.
I will step back for a second for Juniper and Zavar. And since you're back there, you've been kind of investigating things and looking. Could you roll a fresh perception check for me, please?
Really welcome out to my coworkers that I see almost all the time. Oh, they come out.
I got an 18.
Okay. Juniper, what did you get? I can't hear you. I'm sorry. 13?
14.
14. And what did you get, Zavar, again? I'm sorry.
18.
18. Zavar, you will notice, as you're kind of, and it kind of makes sense since Juniper's being a little bit more determined, a little bit more focused on these graves. As you're standing there, you're helping her, but also kind of being there in her presence, you will notice that as you take I'm sure, a swig of your alcohol, that you notice that one brick looks in this building, it has several misshapen cobblestones that kind of make it up, and a few of them are kind of lodged out from the destruction or whatever happened to it. You will notice that one looks like it's been kind of only halfway put in. That looks like it's been taken, removed, and then put back in.
Yeah, it is. I'll grab that brick and kind of move it in and out and see if it slides.
It does slide. There's a lot of lubrication there. You can pull it out if you want.
Mhm.
If that's yeah.
Yeah, I'll pull it out.
Okay.
What's the girth of the
Inside.
stone?
You
It's
see,
bulbous.
I'm going to have you make. I know this seems like a lot, but make another. Well, I would say that you're being pretty on the other side of the brick that you pull out. You see a C carved into it.
Just the letter?
Yes. There, inside where the brick was, which is why it wasn't quite pushed in all the way, was that there is a kind of a smallish wooden box, it looks like.
Oh, I'll totally grab it.
As you grasp the box,
Tightly.
on the outside. Dan, what are you doing over there?
He's looking for his
Pick
bread
something
box.
up, but the owl was grasping it tight.
As you get the box and you pull it out, you do see some interesting little intricate carvings on the outside that look like carvings of the sea, some boats in the sea. It looks like one side has like a weird creature amongst some fish. But most of the motifs seem to be sea themed.
Well, I'd immediately just walk over to Junie and, Juniper. Well, I was sort of helping you and maybe being slightly distracted. I found this really interesting box. These markings look somewhat water, ocean, sea related. Any
He's
of this
grabbing
look,
it before he finishes his sentence.
Yeah. Do you recognize anything? Is there anything
Correct.
interesting that I wouldn't? Excuse me, what?
What? Nothing.
I am not as well versed with seaworthy items and imagery. Do you see something that is worth noting?
He will paw all over it.
Do you have anything? So you're just kind of looking at it, Juniper.
Mhm.
Okay.
Any,
Alright. You I'm just looking at something. Make an intelligence check for me.
Hmm. Yeah, 13.
Okay. Okay. Alright. This, you've seen something like this before, out in your sea travels, before. It doesn't, you can't remember exactly how it works, but you remember seeing some captains, with them, a couple of captains that you've met, would have this box with them.
Zavar, can I keep this? Are you going to? It's important to me.
Oh, this is important? How so?
Yes. I've seen something like this before.
In what context?
Aboard a ship.
Oh.
Or many ships. Sometimes more than one ship.
This was a box, right? So it has a lid or something on it? Or is it just a block?
It is. Let me take a look here. Let me pull something up. Let me just pull it out, take a look at it, and let you know. Give the
Okay, thank
status
you.
report.
Take a good long look.
We have him.
Yeah, it's a small wooden box, as I said. It
I added you to the group chat, okay?
I mean, it looks like that maybe it could open, but like if you try to if you try to work with it to try and open it in any way, it doesn't seem to budge.
We'll figure it out.
And no keyholes.
The exact measurement of it is 12 inches long, 6 inches wide, and 6 inches
I
deep.
would stop talking. I would stop talking to you.
Those are great dimensions.
Oh, actually, did you make an investigation check on this already, Zavar?
No. I
Make
have
an
not.
investigation check for me while you're looking at the box, please.
Whew. What a wonderful roll. That's a 4.
Why don't you go and roll with advantage since you've already looked at this? You've been looking at this
Thank
box for a
you.
bit. Sorry.
Is Gerbil there?
Well, that's
Yes. Sorry, I didn't have you roll a perception check because they were kind of in the area the
Yeah.
longest.
No.
And you had just
okay.
gotten back there. But I will
I was
say that
just-
I'll say around this time is when you kind of step back. Tegan hasn't came around quite yet with the
Okay.
or is just coming around. It all kind of happens at the same time. So you just get back there, Gerbil. Tegan will come through and kind of warn you. Zavar, what did you roll?
an 8.
With advantage?
Oh, like another
Did you
one?
roll twice or just once?
Sorry. Twice total. Did you want 3 rolls?
What did you
Yeah,
roll
just
the first?
Roll it again.
Yeah.
I rolled a 4, and then I rolled an 8.
Oh, okay. I thought you rolled
Oh.
something higher last time.
No.
Okay. All right.
No, I doubled my
Yeah,
roll.
you can't really
Yay.
tell that there's anything
Yay.
that moves or opens on this box.
Yeah.
It looks like it might, but you can't really tell how to.
Looks very cool. I mean, this is less. This means less to me than I believe it does you. But I'm certainly very curious about it. I'd love to know more about it if you find out anything. But
We'll say that Tegan just came around and let you know about the dragon.
As I'm handing it to
Yeah.
Trini, like, did you say dragon?
Yeah.
Did he already run by? It's like he kind of said it rather calmly for a dragon, but he's running
Fine.
around the island. I don't.
If I hear that, I might double back
Excuse
and
me.
say, "Dragon, big
Dra-
ass
dragon.
dragon,
Oh,
Mm.
dragon.
coming back to its lair. Not going to be happy to see us here."
Oh, all right.
Should we put back the egg?
I wouldn't be caught holding an egg when a dragon flies by.
Yeah,
Gerbil will now turn around. Does he see the dragon? If he turns around.
Yeah, I'll
it's
say
full
that
to
you're
aggressive.
able to. You see this kind of silhouetted figure against the setting sun. You know, it's maybe about it's hard to tell. I mean, maybe like a football field out from the island.
That's really close.
We're dead if
That's
it's a
really
football
close to
field.
our
or what?
dragon.
It's a couple of football fields away. Then.
Oh, well,
Much
then we're
better.
fine. We got
A
a
couple
while.
thousand? Like,
Couple thousand?
Woof.
I don't have time to look up the closing distance of a
At least 100 rounds away.
How
It does seem to be
how
moving
long
quickly.
is a rugby field?
I don't know. That I'm not familiar with. I'm barely familiar. I'm not even familiar with a football field, honestly. So
As we've noticed.
yeah.
Are we around the front? Are we all in one place?
You're all in one place. So
I would have been doing something while they were doing
you're
something.
Not all in one place. Sorry. Juniper, Zavar, Gerbil, they're in the back of the building. Kazeel,
We
and
should probably-
Demurius, you're still by Ingot.
I'm doing something actually,
Okay,
but
all right.
I'll wait my turn.
Zavar, what were you? So you got the box.
Yep.
Okay.
And I handed it to Junie.
Hand it to Juniper. Tegan came around. Gerbil, were you doing anything when you stepped back there?
No, I imagine Gerbil just went around the corner. It was like, oh, good. Judy and Zavar are alive.
Dragon.
What are they doing with those graves? Oh, wait.
Yep.
What?
Seal, what are you doing?
Oh, once Tegan left to do that, and Renaria says,
Oh, I forgot
Her
about
all
Ingot.
set? yeah, Ingot's relatively.
Ingot's dead.
No. Ingot.
Does she have a reaction?
She stands up when the two of you start talking about the dragon and kind of. Oh, I think that's the dragon from the Estesa.
Oh,
Probably. It's the only dragon I know of in this area. So
Oh, it's at the stage.
And-
gets that way.
it's Nessus here. Did you not notice the eggs?
Well,
Don't
yes,
look
yes,
over
we did. Yes,
Okay.
We thought they were yours.
we did assume that you may have been a dragon.
No, if I was a dragon, I think I would know. I would hope. So.
What a twist!
I mean, what? So
This is-
so what are we panicking about?
Well, the dragon serve the library? Like, if it comes here, is it like on the library's orders to murder us?
Oh no, the dragon does what it wants. You didn't destroy one of the eggs, did you? Or eat it, or fry it up, or throw it into the ocean?
Oh,
It was moved.
That's probably why it's coming here.
oh, I'm gonna look. So, just a minute. I'm gonna do two things, if I may. One,
Sure.
I'm gonna go and kind of paw around myself to see what I can find in the room, but in the ruins, treasure-wise. But I'm going to look over at the dragon and try and telepath it, like see, because it can, do that communication. I'm gonna
Yeah.
try and
Oh, no.
talk to it by mind as I look at it,
Oh,
and just whether it works or not, I'm just gonna try and I'll say, hello. Oh, me again? How weird that, right? Oh, we saved seems to be your nest. We saved your eggs from some undead that were on the island.
Nice spin.
I don't know if we had to move one of the eggs to keep it safe, but I don't really want to touch it to move it back. I hope that's all right. They seem to be safe and sound. Just want to see on the horizon. We're looking to vacate anyway. But let us know if there's something we can do to protect your eggs further while we're here. Do you want us to keep watch until you're here? What would you like?
Would you roll a D100 for me?
No,
It's still,
not
it's,
even a
it's still,
persuasion
it's still a ways away, which is why I'm asking.
boy.
So
Wow.
Okay.
Do I see Kazeel like just like staring off into space?
oh, for sure. Yeah, you're
Mm,
standing
mhm.
there. You're aware of the situation.
Golden hour.
Absolutely.
Wind.
Kazeel, take my hand, please.
No,
Not that
I'll
this has
reach
to
my
happen
hand
right now.
over.
You can finish
Here?
your grab.
Now?
I'll finish the thing. Sure, I got a 71. I'll reach over and hold my hand out. Hold hands out to Harius.
And get you as well.
Jesus. Okay, wait a minute. You got a 76, you said, Kazeel?
71.
71.
Mhm.
Inga will just kind of look at you, Rhaenyra, and will. Okay. You kind of put her hand out. She closes her eyes and just like massaging her forehead.
Trust me.
Hey, always, lad.
You haven't killed me, so sure.
He steps back and starts thinking, oh.
Taking a drink of his water bottle.
Rhaenyra is just like, I just wanted to hold hands before I died.
Inga just kind of looks at Rhaenyra expectantly.
We need to wait here for the others.
You,
holding
you,
hands.
you have very soft hands.
Inga
says
just
to
kind of
go.
like, her eyes kind of shift to you, Kazeel. Not in that way, Kazeel. Kind of in a
it's
kind of
magic.
incredulous, like,
No.
and she like sighs deeply, a very Stephanie sigh.
He knows what he's doing.
And
She starts putting crystals back in.
Kazeel. You get, as you're standing there, awkwardly holding hands with Rhaenyra and Ingot, a woman who's tried to kill you in the past.
Multiple times.
You hear in your mind, someone touched my egg. I don't respond kindly to people hurting my offspring. I hope that seems understandable to you.
I'll
Do
think
you
back.
understand me?
I do. We didn't want to touch the eggs. They seem to be housing, of course, living creatures, but they were undead that were just running through. We took care of them all, but some got in there, and we tried to move it out of harm's way. But I haven't moved it back because it felt very.
Someone
precious.
dropped it.
Oh, I think they were doing their very best, and it's fine. We took a look over, and it was chaos with all the undead. Actually took a bit of a strike himself in the process. I think just trying to safeguard the egg. It could have been much worse, but thankfully.
Jonathan, no. I'm guessing you probably glance up into the horizon as you're saying this.
Mhm.
You do see that it's still flying closer.
I might try to do legs.
Everyone,
need-
hurry!
To check on my eggs.
Stay here.
Hey.
Meeting and I'll run towards legs.
Do you want us to
If you
stay
attack
here?
me, you will die.
Oh, wouldn't I think of it? I have the utmost reverence
You're too
for
weak
all
to
dragon
withstand my attacks.
I know. I respect you too much. In the top 10. um,
I will be landing soon. If any of my eggs are harmed,
Right.
all of you are gone.
Understood.
Connection. You can feel the connection kind of cut.
Okay. Hey, so Dragon's on its way. I'm having a wee conversation with it. A bit upset that it was the egg was dropped, so I said that we were protecting it from some random undead. We're doing it a favor, sort of, just protecting its young, but it just wants to make sure it's okay. But if it gets here, it's not. It's going to come after us. Just a update.
Yeah, as long as
Everyone, get over here now!
as long as the eggs,
Handed it
Aren't.
at least, man.
as long as the eggs aren't harmed, they won't. They're not going to care about you.
Oh, good.
You see Gerbil
Why are we
rode onto the
holding
beach
hands?
with his bow and arrow. Ah!
Hey, it said don't attack it or it's going to kill us all, and it can't. It will.
What I think Gerbil is behind the building with Juniper,
Hmm,
and so you don't see him. So going back to Tegan, what are you doing? You saw the boat about a few hours out. I mean, it's difficult to tell, but it's definitely not going to arrive here shortly. But definitely a few hours out.
Is it heading towards us?
Again, a little hard
Can't
to
tell?
tell just glancing at a boat on the horizon.
There's just a boat on the horizon. Okay, all right. Well, after I delivered the news, I will come back around to see what scrambling around the building to
I mean,
see.
it definitely has some
what's
like
going on.
sails up. So
Okay. I will come back around to where Renarius,
and you
Kazeel,
see Renarius and Kazeel and Ingot holding hands. Ingot just kind of looks at you, like
grab
almost with
grab
a
Kazeel's hand now.
pleading look.
pleading for
Mercy.
Uh,
Just throw me in the ocean right now, you know?
if he could, you think it would give him "I feel you, sister."
is it at this point that Gerbil, Judy, and Zavar casually just walk around the building and just be like, "Where's the dragon? What are you guys doing?"
Everyone,
I'll update.
link hands now. Do it.
Why do they
Are we
What
doing
are
the
you,
thing?
What are you planning on doing?
Did someone say the word? Are we doing the thing?
I was gonna do the amulet of the plains.
We had a whole code word, Renarius. That was not even a day ago. Gerbil.
Bug out.
Taking a look at
Is this not a time to bug out? I'm.
Well, just
bugging
say
out.
the word so we know what
But-
you.
Okay,
I'm gonna
so
bug out.
Juniper, so
Gerbil will go
Juniper,
grab someone's
okay.
hand.
Gerbil's holding the hand. Juniper and Zavar, what are you doing?
Gerbil will reach out another hand.
Well, I mean,
Scrambling, kicking.
yeah, I
sand
mean,
up,
we would have followed Tegan.
getting in
Okay.
formation.
And-
I'll
yeah.
tell Ingot. I think we're going to shift out of here.
Yeah,
Teleport.
I thought you were going to go to the Northern Crown.
Aye. I mean, but do you know how? We're just... We're
You've
stuck
been
here
sailing
otherwise.
there. No.
I mean,
Hey, all the boats are damaged here.
No, I'm not.
I mean, I don't know if they're damaged. I think they're just small.
Wait, there's
I saw that
boats?
wee one over there.
Yeah, you would have saw
are we going-
really small boats in the back.
I know,
as
there's
well.
really
There's some
big
other
ones.
in the back.
Are we going to paddle away from this dragon if it decides that we hurt its child?
Did we hurt its child?
No, well, it seemed to be upset that it was dropped. But I said, oh, the person that dropped it was actually hurt in the process. They were just defending it
Wait,
from undead
You
creatures.
admitted that we actually picked it up or dropped it?
Oh, no,
You
well, they
admitted that?
knew. They
I'm
knew.
immediately grabbing hands.
I made it sound like we helped it.
Once I hear that, it's like, oh.
Juniper, are you grabbing their hands as well?
Gerbil's outstretched hand.
Oh, she'll
I'm getting
grab
next
Dribble's hand.
Slow-mo.
Yeah, I don't care who has Dribble's hand. Judy has it now.
Zavar just
so-
grabs it like.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
just look at the dragon in that area. I'll be like, oh, my name again is Kazil. If anything's happened, you can
can
hold me
reach me at-
responsible.
555.
That's not a
555.
He
But the
will
people
accept
I'm with,
zero
they just did their
I thought
best.
you said the eggs weren't harmed.
Well, they're not. They're not. But we're
I can
looking
see
to leave.
the group of you doing something. If you leave, I will find you if something is done to them.
Fine. Well, we're leaving
Here.
to let you do what you need to do, but they're fine. But if you have any concerns, the name's Kazil. Just hold. I'm the one that took that action, so
Do I see
hold me
the
responsible.
Kazil doing that stuff?
You will
I'm
all
looking
die.
over it.
Do I see
Oh,
Kazil
understood.
doing that, like mentally? Yeah.
You know the look.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
He's constipated again.
You've seen him do this.
I'll ask Kazil what conversation is he having?
I was just trying to converse with it again and let it know that I'm responsible. Like everything's fine, but I'm the one that, I didn't want any of you to be held accountable if it decides anything's wrong with the egg.
It sounds like you're making it worse by talking to it. Is that what's happening?
No, it's doesn't even want to hear it. It just says if anything's happened, we're all dead. But I assured it that everything's fine. It can see us from where it's at. It knows we're looking to leave. It said even if you leave, if something happened, it's on all of you. I mean, I don't even know if we want to stay and make sure that nothing happens to the eggs between now and then.
Can Gerbil make an insight check on Kazil? See, like, what is going on with his head? like, are we about to die? Did he just make things worse? Like, that's
Sure, you can do an
That's
insight
your-
check to see. Yeah.
oh man, 11.
And I guess, Kazil, if you're being deceptive in any way, you can roll.
No, that's
Or
it.
persuasive.
All right, Tegan, well, seeing this and hearing all this, I'm going to say it. Fuck. He's going to be like, if we leave, we can never come back to Demglyph. It's going to chase us down to the ends of the earth. And he's just going to sit down cross-legged on the beach.
Okay.
Are you sure
I don't
about
understand
this?
what's happening.
Just Tegan, we were about to get out of here. I really, really, really do not wish to have any
Welcome,
contact with this dragon.
Gerbil will like go people's heads and just be like, turn to Ig and be like, "Welcome to our crew."
Oh,
And he'll
I'll
just
look
like
at
go like
Renarius.
lean against the building.
Judy's just
What's that
sitting
loud?
there.
Tegan will say, if we run away, it will look like we did something.
Oh.
But we
Oh, yeah,
we
that's
sort of
better.
have. We've moved the eggs. We've touched the
Let me do-
We are the only ones who know who touched the egg.
Hey, here's what I said. Let me, all of you, stay carefully close. If you have to leave without me, leave without me.
Done.
I'll truly, but I'll speak to it once it gets here. Ingot seems to feel very relaxed with the situation. As long as we didn't hurt it, we should be fine. I told it that there was just random undead creatures here creeping out of the water, and that we took care of it, and we protected.
Are you relaxed, Ingot? Are you?
Rhaenyra, you look over to Ingot. Ingot, with that crazed expression. Ingot, yeah, she looks kind of half annoyed, half like just. It's
Is
just
Rhaenyra still
the
holding her
stupid
hand?
dragon from the sky.
Zavar is finishing off his flask like glug 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 glug.
Gerbil.
I guess we're staying then. I'm sorry. I held your hand.
Oh, you don't have to be sorry.
Ooh.
Whatever.
Like
She'll give you like a nice, like, firm pat on the shoulder, Rhaenyra.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say hand squeezed. Squeezed.
Oh.
Let's
Yeah.
await our doom.
Relax a bit. It's fine. She'll tell you Rhaenyra. Relax. It can
Meanwhile-
smell fear.
Well, then I stink.
And she'll kind of like look to you, like look to the rest of you and like wink.
I'm
Gerbil's
feeling that
gonna
very
go
confused.
lean against a wall, and he's gonna open up his bag and check on Tulip. Just if he's gonna die, he's gonna spend it with his griffin.
Tulip is looking a little afraid.
Oh, great.
A little shivery.
Now he's mad at Kazeel. Because Kazeel made things like he's just blaming Kazeel. Like Griffin's
amazing.
upset.
It's all your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like as it sees you kind of open the bag, it's like and it kind of will kind of like, you know, purr, kind of get up against you. Obviously a little spooked. All right. So anyone else want to do anything? Anyone looking up at the sky? You can see the dragon is still flying in. Should be here any minute. You can kind of hear this kind of like, as you all kind of stand there, you can hear this kind of like almost like a tinkling of someone peeing. No, like glass kind of like hitting each other. Almost as if you had like glass chimes or a bunch of glass beads in a bowl, and they were being moved. It's just that kind
Marbles.
of, you know, that kind of, you know, a very almost relaxing sound that slowly gets louder, and you can kind of hear a little flapping with it as well.
Does anyone have any
Last wishes?
case like, any healing? Doesn't he require touching, like remote healing to cast on the egg just in case?
No, don't touch it. Don't touch the
No,
egg.
not without
Don't
touching it.
touch
Without
it.
touching
Let
it.
me, I mean,
Something from afar.
I was going to say, what's her name? We'll speak up. Pixrin, we'll speak up.
Oh,
And Melissa watches that, she'll kill me.
Yeah.
So Pixrin will let me see what I got prepared here. Diane, that's touch.
While she's looking at that, like if
Sure.
I look at the egg from here without getting close or touching it, does it look like there's any damage whatsoever?
I
mean, I know Zavar was saying I'm doing this very carefully and everything.
Yeah, if you
I just wanna-
how close are you getting to it?
But no closer than 10 feet at
Okay,
the very
okay.
closest.
10 feet away. I mean, as far as you can tell, no, you don't see any cracks or anything. It still has that kind of iridescent shimmer. Despite not that much sunlight hitting it.
Sorry, we got an exciting raid. Thank you for the
Oh, thank you
raid.
for the raid.
Yay, Lawful Stupid RPG.
Yeah, just in time to see us TPK to a dragon.
Yay. I'll nice to see you all here. I'll turn back to Pixar and then so let's
Yeah,
I don't even see any signs of damage, so maybe we'll just leave it be.
I don't really have anything anyways. I kind of spent
all right.
myself in the last battle.
I hear ya. All right, thank you, Pixar. Appreciate
Of course.
that. Well, I guess there's nothing to do but wait now.
I'm so sorry, everyone. If anything happens, it's all my fault.
No,
Zavar,
it's all right.
it's okay.
It is not okay.
We're
It
all-
is definitely not okay.
No, this is not okay.
Gerbil will look
the
at
worst.
Renarius because this is
the
like
worst.
the most like just like emotion you see from Renarius.
Mhm.
Like you're just like, huh. Fascinating.
Aw.
Mhm, go ahead.
Gerbil will actually go up to Renarius and Renarius, I have an important job for you. Could you choose to accept it?
I
put Tulip
what
in
is the
his
job?
hands.
I'm not going to
I
any
just
jobs
I
without-
just thrust Tulip into his arms. Protect Tulip.
Fine.
Let me see how Tulip reacts to that.
Tulip's claws out his eyes.
Tulip is a little squirmy.
Oh, no.
Tulip's a little
Okay.
squirmy, Renarius. You can hold on to her, but she's a little kind of like, as Gerbil kind of gives her over, kind of like looks at Gerbil and
She like scritches under her beak. Do the scritches.
okay, you do the
It's
scritches.
good.
So kind of like try to calm down, but you can still feel like her wiggling around a bit. She's just a little nervous.
Can she smell my fear?
Ingot is like,
Not over mine.
I bet.
Zavar, but we're in this together, no matter what happened. We're in, like we said in the other last night in that interaction back in the library, we took a stand together. We're in this together.
Is this
Just, everyone huddle. Be ready to leave, to shift away if you need to. I'll try and run back, but listen, if this dragon attacks, go while I can. Don't you wait for me.
Don't worry. We'll remember your sacrifice.
And just as Gerbil says that,
Oh boy.
the creature, this dragon, is extremely close now. As you look over, as against the setting sun, you see it is a dragon form, but unlike a dragon that any of you have ever seen, even in your studies. It's made completely of crystal, it looks like. Its body almost as if carved out of a piece of crystal, almost like a faceted crystal statue come to life of a dragon. From within it, as it gets closer and it starts blocking out the sun against you and casting the shadow from the last few moments of sunlight on you, you see this kind of this glow emanating from it, of these pinks and blues and teals and these light greens kind of all mixing together, as well as little parts that seem more purple than pink, and it just seems like this beautiful array of colors that seems to emanate from within it, and in thus doing so casts these beautiful kind of pieces of colored light around all of you in different parts of the sand and the tower, that's what's left of it, and kind of reflecting off of the shore, the water that's kind of lapping in as well. Seems like the tide might be kind of moving in a bit. from from when you first arrived on this island, emerged, as it were. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's anything, as it lands with this kind of tinkling of glass. The sand kind of puffing up a bit with it, but you can also hear that kind of glass kind of scraping against the bones and the skulls of the floor, of the ground, that's kind of mixed in with that sand. It lands but 15 feet from you, barely missing the tower, but it's a seemingly practiced landing, as if it's landed here before and is aware of its surroundings. What you can tell is its face with this kind of like normal dragon features, but with these kind of crystals jutting out at the top, almost like a lizard, and this kind of crystalline horn coming out from the tip of its nose. It has a very long tail. The wings are what you would expect of a dragon, maybe a little bit shorter. And as it, lands, and you hear that kind of scraping and that glass hitting, and making this kind of almost melodic sound, it just kind of looks at you, and its eyes glowing this kind of pinkish red light. And you can almost see not only this light kind of emanating from within it, but there within its chest is almost like this reddish pink light that kind of glows brighter than the rest and almost pulsates. It just kind of lands and looks at you, towering above you. It's a huge, as far as D&D size goes, and just walks by you, in between you and the building, because I'll say that you're mostly standing a little bit more towards the water, the shoreline. Kind of like brings its wings up and just kind of walks in between you and the rubble, and goes to the front where the one egg is. And we'll kind of look down at it, and you'll see it kind of take a wing around the egg as it kind of almost shelters it, and it will just kind of look at it curiously and all around, and kind of put its crystal paw on it. And you'll see a light. There was a slight glow coming from the egg anyways, but it gets brighter as the dragon got closer to it. And as it starts to interact with it. You see it kind of tuck it within one of its arms, and will make its way, kind of pushing its way into the inside of the structure. In this time, is there anything that y'all want to do? Ingot is just kind of like, she's taken a few steps back with her feet kind of in the water now, just to kind of give it some more room, but she doesn't seem alarmed, maybe more, if anyone's noticing, maybe more kind of reverenced at the creature. And I'd say maybe you could, let me see how much of that she's showing. Yeah, you'll see a kind of like wipe at her cheek really quick. But she does seem still, of course, a little like she's dealing with like all the voices and stuff. But anyone wanted to do anything as the dragon seems to be inside the structure? You can still see its tail kind of out, coming out of that opening that the rest of you took to come out into the beach.
I'm just gonna make sure I'm keeping distance from the party, like 35 feet if I can, 40 feet, in case the dragon does anything.
I'll just, taking the cue from Ingot, I'll just join the group right around where Ingot is, and await our judgment.
I'm looking through my bag for another bottle.
Hiding that box in my bag and looking at the dragon, not peeing myself.
Oh, something else too. I've got a stone, a rock that I picked up.
Uh-huh.
I'm handing that to Juniper.
Okay.
I'll also put that in my backpack.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
For a second, I thought you were gonna say, "I have a stone. I'm gonna throw it."
He's going to throw it at the dragon and crack it.
Yeah.
That'll work, right? If I
Oh my
just shatter it
gosh.
to pieces.
Oh gosh.
He would hit the egg and then yeah.
Bounces off the egg, and the egg just.
Hixren will just. Wow. It's something. It didn't kill us, though.
Not yet.
Don't know what
Not yet.
accent. There we go. Didn't kill us. Had to get into that southern accent a bit. The dragon you'll see the tail kind of, back out of the structure, as if it's done this before, and will turn and look back at the group and just kind of take a couple steps forward and kind of, spread its wings probably a little menacingly to show its size more. You see that kind of inside the chest kind of glow brighter, get a little bit more red.
Renarius is visibly shaking while
Aw.
heading the.
Hi, I'm just
It
trying
looks
to
just like-
get its attention away. Yeah.
The
Hello.
sun is setting currently,
Mhm.
so you no longer have any direct sunlight. With that kind of dusk settling in, you start to see some more colors kind of appear kind of far beyond, on the other side from where the sun was setting. And you can see more of the glow coming out from this dragon, and the colors kind of I'm gonna make up a word, prismine. Being a prism
Mhm.
all around, casting these little shades of pink and purples. And you say hello to it, Kazil?
Yeah, trying to get its attention away from the rest of the group.
It kind of looks, and it will kind of look around and almost like not immediately look at you, Kazil, but then kind of slowly look over.
It
And-
took the undead out and pointed the skelly bones around and stuff.
And you can't really read expressions on its face. Hmm,
Sounds like 2 syllables.
I see. Begins with an F and ends with a U. No, kidding. I'm kidding.
Azil
The
knows
dragon,
that
after
way
you say
too
that,
well.
will kind of look. You'll hear that kind of tinkling of glass and look back, almost directly at you, Kazil, and its eyes will kind of shift from that pinkish red glow to a blue, and back again, almost to a purple. And it will kind of almost cock its head. You're different.
Hey,
Why do you look different? And why you called yourself Kazil?
for now, I've lived a very long time under a few names. Kazil, currently.
A minute, Stephanie's trying to find her notes. Okay. I thought
You
you were
might-
killed.
Oh, a few times.
And she's saying this, you don't see a mouth move, but you all can hear this. It's kind of, and it's a little bit different, Kazil, even from hearing it before. Before it sounded a little bit distant. Now it's almost like it's emanating in your head, kind of echoing almost.
Mhm.
And what did you say, Kazil, at the end? You said what was your last thing that you said?
I thought you died. I said a few
Yes.
times. Hmm. A few times. You might sense some of my magic created this plane, so you might
Yes,
sense me around a
I
bit.
know. I've met you before.
Oh, my apologies. That
You're the one that put me here. You're the one that told me I could build my nest here.
Good.
Jonathan, these eggs are yours. You cast me out to this island to hide me away.
You're shamed from the world.
Oh man,
You don't
child
remember.
support's expensive.
Is this a new form? Just how your curse, I think you put it, works?
I can't remember my past lives when I come back. I've only recently learned about my past, so all a bit new in this life.
The dragon will kind of look at the rest of the group. And who are these?
They're
And who moved my egg?
Shit, I already said it was someone else.
You
There was a lot of chaos, but I know the utmost care was taken. You know, I thought I felt a connection when we spoke earlier. That must be it. That's my past life. That
Just kind of
explains
like
it.
looks up from the other group and looks like a little bit quicker back at you, Kazil. You think that's it?
Is there more? I'd love to know. So,
What more do you want?
just if we know each other beyond just.
We don't know each other, mortal. I was looking for a place to have my nest. You said that I could hear as long as I kept an eye on this area and on the crown.
Oh, well, you know what? In this life, I've come to respect freedom a great deal more. As far as my word goes, you're welcome to keep your nest here under no conditions. In fact, use your own perception and insight, but I think the folks that are at the place that I founded have just taken it in a more dangerous direction. I think the things they're looking to do might threaten your nest in other ways, so do whatever it is you wish to do, of course, but please don't feel bound by that anymore, and be careful. A lot of destruction.
My nest
I think,
stays here.
Of course.
I don't wish to move it.
Please
I
don't.
like this area.
Oh.
At least this way, the library won't meddle.
Just so you're aware, because I feel a kinship with you from my past. The library is looking to raise something that will destroy everything here on the Prime and just bring about something altogether different. So, just be wary.
I'm aware. Of course I'm aware. But your warning is taken into mind.
If there's ever, now I know you're very powerful and ancient, but if ever there's anything I can do to help you in any way, let me know.
I told you before I don't have a human form.
Hey?
I should look over to Venerius. Why do you look familiar? Who are you? resounding in your head like a broken speaker.
Is this all telepathic happening,
Yes.
or do we hear Kazeel?
We all hear it.
Did you respond telepathically, Kazeel? Yeah, you all hear what this dragon is saying, what they're saying.
I would have said all that out loud.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Kazeel respond out loud. Her talking, or this dragon talking to y'all, is in your head. And as she says, "Who are you?" The voice gets louder. It almost seems to echo.
I am very scared. Is what I am. My name is Renarius Sim. I believe if you knew whoever Kazeel was back when he was who he was with you, you may have known my great grandfather, who I had no knowledge of before today.
Arbane, look at Kazeel. That was your name before. In case you don't know.
Thank you.
Seems like there's a lot that all of you don't know. How you got this far is honestly astonishing.
Could impose
Saying
to
that since day
ask
one.
you. Can I impose to ask you some of that information, especially if we can help keep things as they are here? I'll gesture around to the nest and the island.
I'll let you know I keep my nose out of the library. They're just where I fly.
Oh, I understand.
I have a slight agreement to protect my own self, to protect that area. As this one probably knows, and they'll look over to Ingot. She'll give a small shrug, kind of dealing with a pretty intense headache, it looks like.
Do you perchance, would you know how to take, she's suffering with these crystals.
She did that to, they did that to her, the library. There's nothing I can do.
Right.
And they'll look back to you, Renarius. But still, I believe that was your grandfather's name.
I believe so.
What do you know of your history, Sim? What kind of person?
What was that?
What do you know of your history, Sim?
I know. My grandfather was one of the founders of Fairweather College. I know that he had dealings with the library, and aside from that, my family tried as hard as they could to steer me away from the study of the arcane.
But you are a magic user.
Yeah, it seems to have not escaped me.
Kazeel, you hear you hear the dragon's voice in your head, a little bit quieter, almost distant this time. I'm going to send you that message.
Okay. Do I? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay. I'll reply that. I'll just reply in here.
Okay. Anyone else want to say anything to the dragon during this moment? Seems to be very focused on Kazeel at this second.
No, seeing that, no, don't want to interrupt. Never interrupt the dragon.
We're just in awe of this giant crystalline beast.
How badly has Venarius shaking after Dragon talking to him directly?
Peeing himself.
I've calmed down a little bit.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
still probably eyes are still darting around, probably still very unsure of the environment, but probably no longer visibly shaking.
Okay, good. Gerbil's just making sure you're not like giving Tulip like so like a syndrome, like just.
The Lenny squeeze from
The dragon will look back at you, Venarius, kind of sensing that still kind of lingering bit fear. Did you touch my eggs?
I did not. I did take one or two things from your pile here. You can have them back if you like. I am dreadfully sorry.
I'll find more to feed on. It's fine. You don't touch my eggs. You don't hurt me. Then you don't have anything to fear, unless you plan to. I don't know. How do you plan to use your magic?
I wish to make things right. There has been much pain caused by the college at Fairweather, the mages who died at Bairn, the activities of the library who have put innocents at risk. I wish to right these wrongs.
Head will turn towards you, Kazeel. I'll turn back to Venarius. Maybe you will. I sent you a message again, Kazeel. Just let you know,
Okay.
in case you missed it.
All right. No, I did. Thanks. I'll look a little shaken. One moment.
Well, what are your plans now that you're here and this one hasn't killed you, it seems? Looks to Ingot.
Would have to find a way to Shining. What were the
Northern
people
Crown.
again?
Wait, Northern Crown.
Bright ones.
Well, the bright ones to try and help and get here. Not really sure how we'll get there, but
I saw a boat coming in. Sure they can give you a ride. No doubt it's the one that sits with my eggs sometimes, like she's protecting them. Yeah. Gnome girl.
thank you.
Boat? There's a ship coming in?
I should head back. I should go.
I should go.
I should.
Hey, we'll talk. Hey,
I.
again, thank you for your kindness. If you
Can I
have
get you sending
ever a
some girl?
need, ever a need for assistance or anything ever turns on you here at the library, please let me know.
Right.
Oh, could I
Um,
ask your name? If that's not too presumptuous. Homely, I ask. And I'll do a bow.
Sweet. But no. I just rolled for something and I forgot what I rolled for. It's gone. Like the breeze. Oh, right. So are you heading east or west? You're heading to the Crown, right? To the west?
Aye, northwest. Aye, or wherever we are. I'm not sure where we are right now. But the northwest of Dim Glint.
The Crown is to the west. A little bit northwest, yes. You also have the island to the east where the weird tree stands. Good luck. And if you end up hurting one of my eggs in the process of getting back and forth to wherever you're going, know that you will still die even though we've talked here today.
Of course. Thank you.
Maybe something can be done to reveal my name, in the future.
Let me know.
Right. The dragon at that time will kind of, back away from you towards where they landed before and start spreading out their wings even farther, pushing them towards the ground, and you'll see some of the sand kind of rise up with the dragon, and that glow kind of definitely very present now. And as the wings kind of, flap and bring it off of the ground, and you hear that kind of the glass kind of scraping against each other and also at the same time making that weird kind of melodic, sound that almost sounds like a music box. You'll see it kind of rise and quickly turn and start to fly away as the glow gets dimmer and dimmer in the dusk sky that you can now see several colors starting to appear. Not that many stars, but yeah. And in the distance, a ship. And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
A ship.
Oh shit.
Turn everyone in the party.
Ship.
All right.
Everyone leans over to Renarius. Quick, let's leave before Kazil comes back.
Thank y'all so
Look
much.
about-
Thank you, players. Thank you for all the follows and all
staff.
the raids
Lots of-
this
all the
evening.
raiders.
From
Raiders.
Luke
Thank you.
Muro, Mr. Kupla looks like rated us. Lawful Stupid RPG rated us earlier. You are the best. We definitely appreciate all the viewers and all the love.
Mhm.
And I
Yes.
appreciate all the players here. So yeah, a kind of a nice session after like 2 sessions of battle. So
Oof. Yeah.
yeah, but still a lot of heavy stuff. All right.
Yeah.
Still haven't had a long rest yet.
Still haven't had a
No.
long rest. You are
Please.
absolutely correct. But it is getting dark outside, so who knows what might happen next.
I hope that ship is at least 8 hours.
Vampires.
8 hours.
Vampires, yes. All right, I'm pulling up my schedule.
Polo's
So
just
we have a
on the
lot
ship.
of things happening throughout
The
the week
captain.
from Maverick Streams, and more
Yeah,
to
we do.
come. But as you see here in the schedule, you've been watching The Forsaken, which is every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see here. Throughout the week, we have in the late afternoons, early afternoons, late mornings, sometimes other times, we have Mad Game with Dano and Friends, where Dan here plays games with either myself and Lily, or me, or Lily, or by himself, solo. Been playing some Horizon Zero Dawn, some Stardew Valley. What's like the Sims 4. It's another one that you've been playing recently. And on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Mad Indie Game Time, where me always and Dan usually plays some indie games. This week we're starting It Takes Two, which I'm super excited about.
Need a
and
break from Kiwi.
I know, right? Thursday, we have a brand new show starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time called Drawing Dan, where I teach
What?
Dan how to draw.
Ah.
So I will be providing Dan with a curriculum, and we will be And that will be from 1 to 3, so only 2 hours for that show, as compared to I think the rest of them are pretty much 3 hours.
Because that's all Steph can handle.
Also, this Thursday
Teaching
we
it.
have
Yeah.
we have Mad Bird Squawks this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And this week we are having who are the guests this week, Dan?
Currently we've got Frank, and I think it's going to be you, Steph. Almost Jonathan. I'm going to get Jonathan one day, though.
I'm gonna get Jonathan.
One
I'm
day.
gonna call and cancel that game myself.
I'm finally doing an in-person game with people.
It's really
I'm not-
exciting.
So all I need
Yeah,
to do is
I'm
find
hyped
out
for
where
it.
you're having the in-person game, and then I can just call the place and have the fire alarm pulled.
Perfect.
It's
Perfect.
at someone's house. There is no fire alarm.
Fire
Well,
then.
there's a fire
I'm
department.
Kidding. I'm
somewhere.
kidding. Okay, Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern time, we have Mad Art with Steph, where I work on some sketches for the campaigns throughout the week, about stuff that happened in the campaigns. Saturdays at 6 p.m. Eastern time and at 10 p.m. Eastern time, we have D&D 5e content, Tower of Dreams, then in Extremis, and then Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern time, we have Learning Blender with Steph. 6 p.m. Eastern time, we have Mad Games at Dusk with Trisha, and then 10 p.m. Eastern time. Not this upcoming Sunday, but the following Sunday, we start. We should be starting back with the Obsidian Scar, so super excited about that. All kinds of stuff throughout the week, and we have a Patreon. And just keep. If you're not part of our Discord, you should be, because not only do we
It's
say
amazing.
good morning every day, but other stuff also goes on too. We're just a
Well,
great
thank you,
bunch of
Michelle.
people. We have a great
Sure.
community, and super excited. And also with our
You occasionally
Patreon,
say afternoon.
$20 and up tier, we have movie nights, which we're going to have one this Wednesday.
Yeah.
Super excited about that. We're at least watching
Yes.
Naked Gun 2, I think, unless someone else.
Mhm.
Anyways, we won't get into that. Uh,
It's a hot topic.
it's a hot
this month.
topic. Dan, do we have anyone
Apparently.
that we're reading over to?
Nope, I've been so enraptured with your schedule rundown.
Okay.
I didn't look at all.
That's
But
fine.
we really should. Give me a sec.
Okay.
Chat it up. I'll look.
Okay. Yeah. Naked Gun this Wednesday for the
Naked
Patreon
Gun
people.
2.
Two,
What
right.
are some other
Naked
movies
Gun
we
2.
have watched that have been fun?
Oh,
Oh,
sure.
yeah, we had-
Well, wait
we
a
had
minute.
a
Naked Gun 2
Muppets
is
night.
fun. That's fine. Yeah,
Oh
we
yeah.
Obviously,
we
was
watched
fun.
Yeah, the
Happy
Muppets
Time
night.
Murders. We watched
Oh my gosh.
We
Treasure
watched-
Island, Muppets Treasure Island,
Muppets-
one
yeah, that-
time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was last
Oh.
time.
Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah, we had
watched
a
Mortal
Mortal
Kombat.
Kombat night.
That's right. That's right.
There was
No.
I should look at newer movies being released. and see
we
if there's
we
anything
did
good.
Die Hard at Christmas
Oh
naturally.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah,
As
we
you
did.
should.
We
Never
watched
Ending
some
Story?
weird we watched Never Ending Story. Last
Yeah.
year we watched some weird animated bunny movie from Dan's childhood or something.
Oh yeah, but the bunny movie, The
Oh,
Great American.
The American Rabbit.
That's it.
That was a fever dream.
It was great.
Yeah, remember the wizard that was his? We were like, "That's his dad. That's
Oh,
his
yeah.
real dad. He's
For real.
adopted."
For real.
That was so great.
And the fact that his superpower was he had American flag colored fur and was on rollerblades. Yeah.
Yes.
What?
That-
Oh my gosh.
The wizard,
missed
that was
that
the
one.
strange part.
For-
Really
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Anyone else?
I think I wanted to, but it looks like they've got their like sub only thing up again. So it might not be the best time to jump over there. It gives a
Yeah.
warning now when we go to do that. So
It
that's
does.
handy.
It does.
That's good.
I'm so sorry. We'll,
It's
we'll
okay.
rate our friends at -1 charisma. We haven't seen them in a
Yay!
bit.
There you go.
All right. Well, thank y'all again. Thank you, players. Thank you, viewers. You're the best. And we'll see you next time.
Mhm.
Bye.
Bye.
Bird, read.
Oh, might
Hey,
have a
read
bug
doesn't
there.
count.